Hey everybody, it is the end of January. Yes, I kind of felt like it was a slow month. Not in the reading area. I was good. As you could probably tell, I'm in a different spot in my room. I'm standing rather than sitting. Just because I could just move around like this and be free. And you guys can also see my bookshelf. You also get a glimpse of Edward and Bella up there as a poster. So this video is a wrap-up of all the books that I read for this month. I read a total of 6 books this month, which is actually pretty normal for me. One of them is actually a novella though. So why don't I show you? This book I started in December and finished it in January, and it is called... Ow. Do that again. So the first book I read for this month is The Winter Witch by Paula Braxton. The reason why I read this is because I was kind of in a wintry mood, and yeah, so I thought I'd read something wintry. Thing though is I was actually disappointed because reading the story, it is nothing compared to what it is in the title. There's a lack of winter and a lack of witchy stuff. No. Not only is this book kind of a paranormal fantasy, this is also kind of a historical love story. In reading this, I think that the love story kind of took over more than the whole fantasy stuff, and that's kind of why I felt disappointed about it. It was a little bit boring. It's a story about a girl named Morgana who is forced by her mother to marry a complete stranger. Thing though about Morgana is that she does not speak at all. You do kind of get her point of view, but only in her thoughts. And you also kind of get her husband's as well, but that's more in third person. Morgana is the witch in the story, of course, but she kind of very understands little of her powers, so she doesn't really know what she is until when her and her husband move to his land, and until she starts finding out more, or like stuff begins to happen though, but very little stuff. There is a villain, of course, in the book, but I'm not going to say really too much else about it because I don't want to spoil. I think it kind of started to develop right at the end of the book, so I was going to give this book a 2.5, but because of that, I bumped it up to a 3 on Goodreads. So with the anticipation of Crest coming out, it comes out on February 4th. That is the 3rd book of the Lunar Chronicles. Said that right? But before I started reading Crest, I had to read Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the 2nd book of the Lunar Chronicles and the sequel to Cinder. I really did enjoy this book, but I kind of felt like Cinder was a little bit better. So the story is a retelling of the Red Riding Hood classic story. Scarlet is a... what is she? Scarlet in here is just kind of like an ordinary person. She's kind of different from Cinder. She's not like a cyborg or anything. She is actually trying to find her grandmother who went missing a couple weeks before. Nobody can help her really, and so she wants to kind of do this on her own until she meets a street fighter named Wolf. Awesome name. And Wolf kind of decides he wants to help her out, and yeah. What I liked is that you actually also get the story of Cinder, and it doesn't really overtake Scarlet's story in the book. It's kind of the same. So, and I can't wait to find out what happens, so can't wait. I said can't wait. The next book I read, I mentioned it a couple times if you guys watched my previous videos, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. If you haven't watched my New Year's or my new goals for this year, I kind of started a book club in my hometown, and this is the first book that I picked out. And I was really glad that I picked it out because I really enjoyed this book. Amazing book. It was heartfelt. I cried in some moments. I really liked the author's story, or how it was written. What I like is that you kind of get you don't get really a certain character's perspective. You kind of get some other perspective, which I'm not going to say. I don't think it's really a spoiler to tell it, but I'm not going to say it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. It it was just that good. I liked it. So after The Book Thief, I read a novella, and the novella is for a book that is coming out in April, I believe, called Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. And the novella that I read is called No Place Like Oz. This is a before story of how Dorothy kind of returns to Oz and how she becomes a little bit more powerful. The thing about it though is that I did not really like the outcome of it. So it kind of made me more hesitant to start getting into the book that's coming out. I probably will still read the book, but I'm not in any hurry to read it. So after reading the novella, I decided that I wanted to complete a series that I so desperately needed to read. I only read the first 2 books so far, and that is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. You have The Clockwork Angel, which is the first book, and you have Clockwork Prince with the second book. I love these so much. I was so mad at myself that I did not start reading these right after reading The Mortal Instruments. But I'm actually kind of getting into this a little bit more. I'm liking this a little bit more though. I really, really love the characters in this book. I love the time period in this book. I like how you kind of get a glimpse, a little bit more of the shadow hunting world. How it all works, like the council and all the positions, I guess. I don't know. Of course, I love the love triangle so far in this book. So far, I have no team. No team. I like Will and I like Jem. I'm currently reading Clockwork Princess right now, and I'm almost done with it, as you could tell. I'm right near the end, and I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. So those are the books that I read for the month of January, and I'm going to show you guys now the books that I'm going to read for February. There's only 3 of them. But these are books that I know I'm going to read. I'm the kind of person that doesn't really plan on reading a book. I just grab a book and read it. And then if I'm done reading it, I go ahead and read another book off my shelf. There's actually one book that I got in the mail, and I know what it is. So this is kind of going to be a little unboxing right here. See, I got it in the mail. So the first book I'm going to read for the month is The Help by Catherine Stockett. Right? And this is my February pick of the month for my book club, and I really wanted to get into this book because I made the mistake of watching the movie, or I've seen the movie before reading the book, and that's not me. And I really like the movie, so I kind of want to get into this, and yeah. The second book I'm going to read for February, I kind of ended up at my library, and I wasn't planning on going there. And the book I picked out was The Man-Man's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. Yes, by Megan Shepherd, and I was kind of really looking forward to reading this. I know the second book just came out. Yeah, it just seemed really interesting. Oh, don't hit me. Almost hit me again. I was actually really interested in wanting to read this book, so that's kind of why I got it at the library. Okay, this last book I'm going to show you is in the package that I have. And let me explain before I open it. The reason I got this book because I participate in the Today Show book club, and this is the third book that they picked out. They actually pick out really good books. I thought, let me show you the first 2. The first book that they picked was The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and this was actually my favorite book of 2013. The book is about a girl named Paige. She is what you call a clairvoyant, but she is a rare kind of clairvoyant. She is known as a dream walker, which means she goes into other people's dreams. But being a clairvoyant in the city of London, which is called Scion, London, it is actually treason to be a clairvoyant. She gets captured and sent to this place which was former Oxford, and finds out that there's this new species that's been living there who's been kind of trying to control clairvoyance for some reason. So it is an interesting book. I highly recommend it to you guys. The beginning though is a little bit confusing. I say just keep on reading it because it gets better. The second book that they picked was the third book of the Bridget Jones series, and that is called Mad About the Boy by Helen Fielding. But in order to read this book, I had to read the first two books of the series, and oh my god, Bridget Jones is hilarious. I mean, the series is basically about this woman in her 30s who's kind of a little insecure. I mean, it's really, really fun. It's fun and it's funny, and yeah, and I really, really enjoyed this. So, so if you guys want some laughter, start reading this series. Now, the third book that I'm going to show you, I don't really know too much about it, so I'm going to open it right now. Ads. Okay. So the third book that the Today Show picked out, it's called Under the Wide and Starry Sky by Nancy Horan. This is a historical romance, and it has a mixture of fact and fiction. Why don't I read you guys the inscriptions instead of me trying to blabber what it's about. At the age of 35, Fanny, that's her name, that's the character's name, Fanny Van de Grift Osborne was left her philandering husband in San Francisco to set sail for Belgium, with her 3 children and nanny in tow, to study art. It is a chance for this adventurous woman to start over, to make a better life for all of them, and to pursue her own desires. Not long after her arrival, however, tragedy strikes, and Fanny and her children repair to a quiet artist's colony in France where she can recuperate. Emerging from a deep sorrow, she meets a lively Scot, Robert Louis Stevenson, 10 years her junior, who falls instantly in love with the earthly, independent, and opinionated Belle Americane. Fanny does not immediately take the slender young lawyer who longs to devote his life to writing, and who would eventually pen such classics as Treasure Island and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In time, though, she succumbs to Stevenson's charms, and the two begin a fierce love affair, marked by intense joy and harrowing darkness that spans the decades and the globe. The shared life of these two strong-willed individuals unfolds into an adventure as passionate and unpredictable as any of Stevenson's own unforgettable tales. So, God, it's like small font. Hope I finish reading this. So I'm gonna check this out and see how good it is. If you guys are though interested in kind of wanting to participate in this Today Show, I'll leave like information in the descriptions. The event kind of gathers at the Google Hangout. You can ask questions to the author of the book and all that. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, those are the books that I'm going to read for February. So let me know what you guys have read for January, or how many you read, and what you guys plan on reading. So yeah, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.